And welcome to the Knuckleheads of Liberty podcast. We are coming at you on January 22nd, 2021, second day of the Biden administration. Second or third? I can't remember. But well, anyway, third day.
Well,
okay, third day.
It's the second full day.
It's so much fun, I'm losing track. Before we jump into any of that fun, let me introduce you to our panel. In our upper left-hand corner, we have Leon, the word Brathwaite, last word in Liberty. He is a retired engineer in the state of California. And up in our right-hand corner, in a cockpit no less, we have our screaming eagle of freedom, Tim Everett. And he is a pilot in the state of California. And my name is Jason McPhee, and I will be your host today. So let's jump into some of the news. It's funny, the news just doesn't stop rolling. We thought things were going to slow down a little bit and we could dive into more interviews and sort of just discuss libertarian topics. But the crazy news that just assaults our liberty just keeps happening day after day after day. And so the latest of which is it comes from AOC, so sort of one of the usual suspects in assaulting liberty. And she has recently said in an interview that she wants to rein in the media. So she wants to be able to control misinformation. So, kind of like when, Biden said that Joe Blake, was innocent and didn't have a knife. And it turned out he did because Joe Blake admitted it. But anyway, so that's aside from the point. But, we've seen a ton of misinformation, and I'm sure the left can point to some on the right. I know. We've certainly seen a lot that's coming from the left, CNN journalists telling us it's a mostly peaceful protest while a riot with fires and people being brutalized are happening right behind the camera. And it's a mostly peaceful protest. So, but anyways, she wants to have a government entity come in there to essentially control the media. And she's talking about having a truth and reconciliation committees to deal with this. So what do you guys think of her ideas for the Ministry of Truth? Has she been reading 1984 as a playbook?
Yeah, it sounds like it. Oh my God. We will find you and we will send you to the cooler. Dang, she just, for a little girl, and, she's kind of cute.
She is.
Yeah. Yeah, she sure can come up with some tyrannical ideas. I don't know. What can I say? Leon, what do you think? I mean, is this person evil, or just she pandering to the I don't know who she's pandering to. I guess there's plenty of people like that out there. I don't know.
Well, I think liberalism is a sickness, and I think AOC, or whatever the hell her name is, she is infected with something worse than COVID. Seriously, it's really affecting her brain. Well, since the very beginning, it's been affecting her brain. This woman cannot come up with a good idea. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, she could never come up with a good idea. Imagine this. The government, which we know could never get anything right, is now going to determine truth. Imagine that. Yeah. This government, which have lied to us so many times, okay? These are the people that's going to tell us what is true and what is false. You couldn't imagine that. Imagine Dr. Fauci, who was working for the government, or still is working for the government, who lied to us 3 or 4 times.
And admitted he lied to us.
And admitted he lied to us.
Hey, oh, wait. You're right. I think the first person she ought to arrest is Dr. Fauci.
There you go.
And number 2 is James Clapper, that not only lied to the American public, but it lied to Congress, right?
Under oath. And
then he admitted it. So there's 2 nice, juicy apples, low-hanging fruit for good old AOC to put to the cola.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Not only does she not want, she's not talking about Clapper, she's talking about arresting the guy who reported on Clapper.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Snowden, right? I mean,
Snowden,
it's sad that he wasn't given a pardon in these final days, but that's a whole nother bucket of worms to get into. But
yeah, we're going to get into that bucket of worms so that I can vent for a while.
Yeah, maybe we should, because there are some things here that is related to all of this. There are some really scary things that are being put out there. Honestly, that makes you wonder. I looked recently. Katie Couric, who used to be on one of the morning shows. I mean, she was very popular. I don't know why. She's an empty head, just like AOC, talking about deprogramming conservatives. Okay, that's what they're talking about. Deprogramming conservatives. What next? We walk down the street and they're going to arrest us. Put us in a concentration camp somewhere.
Yeah, camps don't appear to be that far off. Project Veritas just had a sting where they got a lawyer of all people for PBS, public broadcasting, going on about how he thought that there should be camps to take away kids from conservatives who needed to be deprogrammed. Yes. So that's just one person. I mean, there's been a lot of other of these lefty media sources recently. I saw the woman from the 1619 Project of all things on I think it was MSNBC show, and they were going on about how they need these reprogramming camps, to make sure that they get the right ideas in people's heads, like the fictional 1619 Project.
Yeah. So you mean the public schools are not the camps to take everybody to reprogram them? I thought that was already a done deal.
Done deal. Yeah. But Tim, you wanted to vent, so why don't you vent? Go ahead, please.
Well,
did you want to vent about something?
I think Jason has a plan for the pardons. Do you not, Jason?
We'll see if we can, we're doing pretty good on timing, so I think we'll probably make it to those.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
But seriously though, some of this stuff is a real attack upon our liberties. It's a real attack upon our freedoms. Free speech is under attack all over, totally under attack. And here are government officials. This is a member of Congress. I mean, we don't like her, we don't agree with her, that's fine. But she's a member of Congress. And she's talking about the government is going to turn what is true and what is false. This is amazing to me. And what happens when a conservative government do come to power and we decide we don't like what the Democrats are saying? What then?
We don't even have to say what if. When Trump was in power and he was going on Fox News to talk to Hannity a bunch, the left was calling that state media. And
yes, exactly.
They apparently they're not big on that idea unless they're the ones who are running the media.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's typical of this kind of bias that they, and people on the right have certain biases too.
True.
They don't.
True.
But okay. I mean, it's just hypocritical on no matter who it's coming from. And fortunately, though, the viewers get to hear from three people that may be considered, because we are libertarians, that we enjoy conservative views. In other words, we're trying to conserve those the bases of our founding documents and our founding fathers and the founding of this government that we've established under a constitution. So we're trying to maintain its levels of freedom. We're not doing a very good job, but hey, at least we're not going to be saying one thing out of one side and the other thing out of another side and being hypocrites about it.
We still need to conserve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We still need to conserve that.
Definitely.
Well, don't worry. In those education camps, they're going to tell us what happiness is. So we will all have the exact same thoughts on happiness. So.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we've proven throughout history that humans always have the same thoughts about everything.
Exactly. We don't need a market to figure those things out from the bottom up.
Not at all. AOC will figure it out for us. Definitely.
Exactly. Well, getting on from that terrible nonsense, I just wow, camps and Truth Commission, wow, being brought to us by the Democrats. There was some other news, I guess, coming out from the end of the Trump administration, and that's his final day of pardons. And so he recently went through about 100 pardons, I think, on his last day, roughly. I'm not sure.
Well, it's 140 pardons and commutations total.
Okay. And so, I was going through a few of them, and what was more impressing me was who was not on the list than who was on the list. But as far as who was on the list, though, as I was just kind of perusing it, I saw a lot of people who were being either commuted or pardoned for financial crimes, and maybe charges of carrying a gun, maybe when they're on parole or something like that. But to me, it just begs the question. If you're a libertarian, I think you don't want one person to be running around and arbitrarily deciding justice for different justice for different people. I mean, that's what you had essentially under a king. And here, I think if I were to decide myself personally who I thought needed a pardon, it would probably have been somebody like Eric Snowden or the WikiLeaks guy, Assange, Julian Assange, and I've heard a little bit about Ross Ulbricht. I don't know for sure on his case, but the point is, there's some people who that very big issues, very broad issues that have to do literally huge implications on liberty. In the case of Assange and Snowden, they were reporting against lies that the government was telling us. And, so the idea that those guys aren't given a pardon, but, people for run of the mill, financial crimes or other things are given a pardon. To me, this is, what's the point? Why even have a pardon system if this is what we're going to be doing? But anyways, what do you guys have to think about that?
Well, I mean, you make a good point that, but this the pardon, the power of pardon by the president, it is absolute. It's in the Constitution, but really and truly, it does lead to really and truly unequal justice. You're absolutely right about that, because, I mean, there are people in prison, sitting in prison today, who have committed similar crimes, and they are not being pardoned, but yet people who, for some reason, had got the attention of the president, they now are free of their charges. I mean, Lil Wayne, the rapper, he had a gun charge he was about to be sentenced. Now he got away. Steve Bannon, who had some financial issues. There are tons of people in prison today who are serving time, and Steve Bannon now is going to be free of his charge. Janine Perillo, her ex-husband, he is now free of his conviction for financial crimes. But the point is, though, you're right, it does lead to unequal justice. But I don't know. I mean, it is in the Constitution. It is absolute, and Trump could pardon anybody for any reason, or any president for that matter. And presidents in the past have done so. But it's a valid point to say it leads to some sense of unequal justice, which I don't know how we get around that unless we take away the pardon power from the president, and that will require some sort of constitutional amendment.
Yeah, there's, for example, the 14th Amendment, the Equal Protection Clause under the law, so on. So I see where Leon's going there. If it were a pardon was done based on really looking at is justice really being served here, and not paying attention to, did this person like me or support me or do things for me in the past, like apparently Trump did, pardoned a bunch of his buddies and that kind of thing. Okay. If it wasn't about pardoning your buddy, but it was about really meting out justice in an unjust justice system, it would be a different thing. And I don't think Leon would, he would then be saying, okay, well, it wasn't equal justice for all. However, instead of locking the people that were pardoned back up, maybe they ought to unlock the people that were, look at it the other way, like, oh my gosh, they're not going to tax such and such. Well, that's not fair. I'm being taxed. Well, no, no, don't think of it that way. Think of it, we all should not be taxed, instead of we should all be in jail, equally in jail, or equally poor, or equally taxed. Well, how about, maybe we ought to have some equal, justice here, and let out the other people that are in there unjustly. And, like Ross Ulbricht, oh my God, listened to a 45-minute podcast, it was a long time ago, with his mother on Tom Woods. You can look up at the Tom Woods Show and find that podcast and listen to it. Ross Ulbricht's mother. Okay, there you go. Somebody a little close to him.
And sorry, just to let people know, so Ross Ulbricht, Silk Road, big time. I think he started the Silk Road, which was a way that a lot of, illegal items like, drug war stuff and all that kind of stuff were traded.
A lot of illegal exchanges were accomplished. So, and of course, ever since they got rid of Silk Road, of course, no one does drugs anymore because they can't get them, right? We all know that. Okay, Silk Road.
Yeah, we're this close to winning the war on drugs.
Exactly. Silk Road brought buyer and seller together in a digital environment. Okay, just like this. I don't know if you know this, but the what's it called? Where you buy and sell things locally. You put an ad in
Craigslist.
Craigslist. Okay. Well, here in California, Craigslist decided, because, we all know the government is so pure as the wind-driven snow, that they would make it illegal for anything related to sex. So it didn't matter if it was, you and your wife wants to have a threesome with another guy or another gal. You can't put an ad in there about a threesome, right? So, because it's about sex, right? If you're a massage therapist, you can't put an ad that, hey, I give a really nice happy ending. No, because it's about sex. Now, so what happened? Okay, people stopped having sex, illegal sex. They stopped having threesomes right away. We know that's what happened. No, what happened was...
Well, no, we all have a Fauci guidebook that tells us exactly what the right position and the proper way to wear a mask during intercourse.
Exactly. No, so what happened was... basically, people in the sex industry, and I'm sorry, it's the oldest profession.
Yes.
These people had developed a way of getting buyer and seller together without the middleman, who was the pimp. Okay. Yes. And it was safer, better for everybody involved. The sex workers actually could make a buck and not be exploited. Now, thanks to the government, that all goes back to the old days before smartphones and these kind of apps that you could run around with, and I'm going to meet up with Juicy Lucy today, and a way of meeting Lucy, right? And so
could you forward me that one too?
Yeah, but now it's too late. It's too late because Craigslist no longer has.
Juicy Lucy's already taken, huh?
No. Well, maybe who knows? You'd have to ask. No, but now you guys have to go through Lucy's pimp to get a shot at Lucy. Okay, because they got rid of Craigslist, and that was from the state of California did this ridiculous thing. Okay, so likewise with Silk Road, I'm trying to do an end around here. Instead of buyer and seller getting together, now you got to go through the middleman. So now you got to go to the dealer. So now. You got to drive around your car, waste a bunch of gas. You got to find the guy that's got the dope and buy the dope that way. And so people have said, well, Ross Ulbricht is so evil because he brought people together. No more than Craigslist did, and no more than Craigslist does in states other than California, and many other ways. It's like they have just, it's like, I'm sorry to break it to you folks, but drugs are going to happen. Okay. There's a certain percentage of people, and it's about 5% of the population that want to do hard drugs. Okay. They're going to keep doing them. And unless you have a way for them to get off drugs, like maybe a real, put some effort instead of locking them up to actually getting them with a doctor and getting them on a program if they want it, but other than that, you're done. I'm sorry, you people that want to stop people from taking drugs. It ain't gonna happen. Okay, grow up. It's not going to happen.
So, Tim, what you're saying about Silk Road and Craigslist is that their efficiency really is a climate-friendly way of engaging in these activities.
Yeah, it is. It's climate-friendly, which that ought to appeal to at least the dumb Democrats out there and improve them right off the bat.
Well, I'm just thinking all that driving around you talked about, looking for your next fix. Hey,
exactly.
Go straight there. You don't need to waste gas.
And you get it in the mail. Not only that, and
they're making it so difficult to find Juicy Lucy. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Where in the world is Juicy Lucy?
I know. It used to be you could find her, but not anymore. You got to go through the pimp. I mean, it's just a done deal. I don't know what to say. Okay. So maybe it's a little more difficult, but I'm telling you what, when people are motivated, they will find a way, and it's just going to keep happening. It's so, all these terrible sin crimes like prostitution and drugs and all that kind of stuff. It's just going to happen, and it doesn't matter if there's a Silk Road or a Craigslist or whatever. Okay?
Whatever.
So get over that part. Now you have to go back to why is a Ross Ulbricht that all he did was create this system. He didn't know what people were going to do with it. Well, maybe he did. Well, even if he did, I mean, all he did was create a method, and that's it. He wasn't the one taking the drugs. He wasn't the one selling the drugs. That's all. So it's like, okay, I've got a newspaper and I'm going to put an ad in the newspaper. I'm going to use some code words and people are going to know that I sell marijuana, let's say. Okay, so does that mean the newspaper is complicit in the sale of an illegal substance? No, of course not, unless you're an idiot. I mean, so there you go. I mean,
it's almost like the argument against social media is what you're talking about, and the recently trying to ban Parler. Because are they responsible for any message that's carried on their venue?
Exactly. Yeah, and the whole thing, the whole thing with that that law 230 law or whatever it is that protects
Section 230. Yes, Section 230. Yes.
Yeah, Section 230. Yeah, which should exist. I mean, it's there for a reason. It's a good reason. Now, getting to Snowden now, and it's 22 minutes, but Snowden and Leon hasn't talked for 10 of those 22. So getting back to Snowden now, here's a guy that called out illegal activity by the government, and we found out about it through him. He did not. Oh my God, all the people, all those spies that he didn't talk about spies out there in Afghanistan. That oh my God, now the Taliban's going to find them and kill them. Baloney. None of that happened. It's just smoke and mirrors, just a bunch of crap. And what he did was he called out the government on an illegal thing. He conversed with 4 people and went ahead of him that did it. They went through the proper channels, and they all got blasted for it. And every one of them told him, Snowden, don't do it that way. You're going to have to do something different, okay? Because this is a dead-end street. And they all got their careers screwed up anyway for trying to go through proper channels. So don't give me that proper channel crap, okay? Snowden is a great American hero who stood by the Constitution, and to punish this guy is just the epitome of 1984. Go ahead, Leon. Sorry.
No, it's fine. We know we are Knucklehead North Patrol, but let me just say one last thing about the pardon issue, is that even though you're right, Jason, about it does lead to unequal justice, I should say, there are compelling cases that come out of pardons. I think the most compelling of in this whole wrong, the whole thing about what Trump did was General Flynn, who should not have been charged and should not have been, well, he was never sentenced, but he was charged and convicted. But Trump did pardon him, and I think that was one of the compelling cases that should have happened. But you are right. I still take your point about the unequal justice. Anyway, I see it's Knucklehead Nose Patrol.
Well, we'll have to grind that one down another day because we are near the end of our show, and it is time for our Knucklehead Noise Patrol. And so today in our Knucklehead Noise Patrol, we are usually what we're trying to do here is go over something silly that some politician said, and we've got one of the silliest guys around, but what's crazy is he actually said something sane for once. So I figured we should say something about that. We should give him a highlight, give him a high five for that. So Cuomo apparently sees the light on lockdown. So recently in his State of the State, and he also mentioned this in Twitter, he said, "We simply cannot stay closed until the vaccine hits critical mass. The cost is too high. We will have nothing left to open. We must reopen the economy. We must do it smartly and safely." And oh my God, if he could have only come around, say 8 months ago.
Really?
Oh, when we had the evidence, we had evidence about lockdowns being ineffective. Yeah, about 8 months ago, that would have been nice.
Yeah. I mean, since one of our early shows, we spoke about this designation of essential and non-essential. We said that on the show. I think it was in March or something like that. I don't remember when it was. We spoke about this. And look at it now.
Yeah.
Almost 8-9 months later, now we have the government officials coming around and saying, oops, this might be a problem. Now that the revenues are not coming in, now they see the light. Now they find Jesus. They have the come to Jesus moment. But what have all of this cost in lives and livelihoods?
Government to the rescue, here to save us.
Save us. They will save us again. It's a funny thing. All the lives and livelihood that have been destroyed, not one government official was fired. Nobody was laid off. All the government bureaucrats still working.
Not even the ones who admit they lied to us on camera.
Exactly.
Fauci.
Yeah, Fauci, the essential liar.
Yes, the essential liar. That's right.
Well, it's sad. I mean, I was apoplectic at the beginning of this whole thing. I remember having a show on this right around when they were talking about a 2-week, shutdown, and I thought, oh my gosh, what's that going to do to property rights and everything when everybody has to figure this out after 2 weeks? And oh my gosh, it's been nearly a year now. So, well. Anyways, we are getting to the close of our show, and so hopefully Cuomo doesn't figure out a way to shut us down. But I think we're gonna have to shut ourselves down because we're almost out of time.
Lock ourselves down right now.
Yeah, we weren't wearing masks, so they may try and get rid of us.
Yeah, they may find that we're not wearing masks and we're not social distancing. With some idiot is gonna look on the screen and say, "God, you're too close to Tim." Okay.
Yeah, they should just for effect move our boxes farther apart.
That's right.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us, and we look forward to you joining us for the next ones. You can catch us on Facebook at libertariancounterpoint.com, also at Knuckleheads of Liberty on Facebook. You can also catch us on Public Access in Sacramento on Mondays, and at libertariancounterpoint.com as well. So thanks so much, and we'll see you at the next one.
Goodbye. Have a good day.